What's happening?
What up? How you doing?
Hey, hey, I'm good. Let's see. Oh, there I am.
Looks dope. You have an awesome background.
Oh,
Art.
thanks. I wanted to make it really feel like home.
Uh, yeah, it's so nice to talk to you, and I appreciate your time. Hold on, let me try my light. Boom, boom. There you go. That's a lot better.
Now I can see you.
Yeah. Been trying to get this light. Oh yeah, because my fucking other light. I'm at work. My ceiling lights are out.
Yeah, that sucks.
What's going on?
Well,
How's
here
life?
I am. Oh, shit. Now I have stuff falling over. All right, let's see if we can get this thing. All right. Boom. There we go.
Tell me a little bit about the Scoffs.
Let's see. We started in, I'd say like March or April of 2019. And we played our first show May 4th of 2019. So we really hit the ground running. I was still finishing lyrics the morning of our first show and writing them on the set list. Um, and so we were basically, I think we were what, 8, 10 months old, without the counting on my hand, before we went into lockdown. So we played as many shows as we could, just played everywhere, and really tried to like get the name out there. And it was working. We were seeing dividends from it, but then we went into lockdown. So now we're just kind of writing stuff.
How did how did your lockdown how did it affect you guys? You're in Arizona, correct?
We're in Seattle.
Oh, you're in Seattle.
Um,
Fuck. So you guys
yeah,
might have had a little bit extra, huh?
yeah, because it started here early. If you remember, like the epicenter of the whole thing was in Kirkland, Washington, at a nursing folks home, and it spread from there, and that's just across the lake from us. So we were pretty early with the lockdown thing, and our governor kind of, I think he's working in tandem with the governor of Oregon and California, and I think they all just kind of do the same
Yeah.
blanket stuff to everyone, which is kind of odd. Like there's no room for nuance in there, so it's just this ironclad thing for all business, even though not all businesses would relate to whatever's being imposed. So it's been pretty tough, and with a band, when it first came down, uh, everybody was terrified. The info we were getting was everyone was going to die if you went outside and stuff. So everyone kind of hunkered down, like, um, and the band members didn't see each other for a few months. This was when everybody was hoarding toilet paper. Well, the first time,
You fucking
and
assholes,
and
huh?
all that stuff, and the really fucking idiots. Luckily, I made a Costco run before the thing happened anyway. And so I just happened to be stocked up on everything. I just kind of waited it out. I drank a lot of booze at first. Um, Come in.
Hold on, I'll be back. My buddy.
Yeah. So the band didn't, we didn't get together for months and really didn't hear from each other because it was a weird thing. Like everybody kind of just went into hiding for a few months, at least up here. And there were a few Zoom meetings here and there and stuff, but really it started to get to this place where nobody was talking. And after a while, when people started venturing back out and they started lifting the restrictions just a little bit, I wrote this smart ass song called I Want to Quarantine with You. And I sent it to the band and they enjoyed that. And they said, hey, let's get together and make a song out of it. So that's
Did
what
you
brought us
add
back to the
Tiger King
table.
in there?
Do what?
Was Tiger King inside that as a lyric in there?
I did not use Tiger King in there.
Dude,
No.
you fail.
He was a pretty important part of the early quarantine stuff. Yeah. He really got us through.
Um, did you end up catching COVID?
I'm not sure. I haven't been tested for the antibody, but I was really sick in early March, um, like for weeks on end. And I had these spikes in temperature where it would go from normal temperature to really high and then back down and then really high again. And I couldn't sleep laying down because the cough was so severe that I had to sleep completely sitting up on my couch
Hmm.
because I couldn't breathe. And yeah, I mean, the aches and pains, it was just otherworldly compared to any other fever I've had. So maybe that, or I had something akin to it that was also awful.
Yeah.
And
I
nobody else in the band got really sick.
I caught it in December. December 28th is when I
Yeah,
caught it. Yeah. And it
before
was
it even hit the news.
it was still it was around, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like because remember back in November, December, that's when China was locked down.
Yep. Yep.
And so I didn't think I had it. I just thought I was sick. Come to find out, I had it. And but no one in my household got it. And we
Huh.
didn't do social distancing, we didn't do masks or any bullshit. No one in my house got it except
Hmm.
for me.
Strong family.
Well, maybe, they have it, but they didn't have, like my daughter, she got a little bit sick, but
Hmm.
my son and my wife
Huh.
didn't at all.
Have you had any residual symptoms from it,
Um,
like asthma or anything like that?
no, here's the funny thing is I was a smoker, man. I would smoke like 15 a day and
Hmm.
cold turkey. Don't smoke anymore.
No shit.
Yeah. So I haven't,
Well,
it'll be
one good thing came out of that.
December 28th will be a year that I haven't smoked.
Nice. Well,
Because when I would
congrats.
try to
That's
smoke when I had it, probably 29th is when I 29th. But when I tried to smoke, like how you're saying you have to sit up? Like I'm coughing
hmm
and like I'm hurting my ribs, I'm hurting my
yeah,
head, my arms were getting numb because I just couldn't get it out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's that. The only way I beat some of that cough was I had to go suck on a nebulizer in a doctor's office because I couldn't breathe. They needed to open up my airway. So,
And then my
yeah,
uncle
that's one
that
way to
passed
stop smoking,
away
I guess, huh?
October.
The what?
My uncle passed away in October from it.
Oh, really?
So that was pretty fucking crazy.
Wow. And
Well, he had
yeah,
COPD.
that's a rough time.
You catch it when you're unhealthy. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Was
So
he already in the hospital or he just
yeah,
happened around?
he had he was smoking for 40 plus years, and then he caught it and he couldn't recover. Man, they put him on the ventilator, and that was the kiss of death. He
Mm,
couldn't wake up. They would
I'm
try to
sorry
take
to
him
hear
off
that.
the ventilator, and he just wouldn't wake up.
I think we'll get to the point where everybody will have been touched by it at some point,
Oh yeah.
just because the scope of it. I finally lost one friend from it, like I don't know, 3, 4 weeks ago,
Oh fuck. I'm sorry.
and that's all right. I guess she had some other underlying health stuff that had reared its head in the last 6 months, and that attributed to or contributed to her getting it and succumbing to it. So yeah, it's rough, but I figure it's gonna happen to everybody at some point.
You know what's fucking crazy? Like,
Hmm.
all right, what's the common thread of people who are dying that catch it? And to me, the answer is they're unhealthy. They're passing away. So
Yeah.
instead of our media saying, "Hey, let's try not to drink soda, let's try not to eat fast food, let's eat healthy, let's get healthier." So if you do catch it,
Right.
you can overcome it. They're saying, "Wear a fucking mask." Oh,
Yeah.
you're not wearing masks? You don't give a fuck. And then it becomes this big political thing. No one here is saying
Mhm.
that it's not real, but the way that we're going about it as a nation, it's got to I think it's just confusing, and it's causing animosity, and it's causing a rift between two different types of people, who are risk takers and the other ones who won't take risks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the science behind masks, they don't really do that much, and that came out early on from Fauci himself and a few others.
Mhm.
I- So I'm not an anti-masker for anybody watching. It's just, but you're right, they're leaning so heavily on that without any other stuff. Here you go, supporting the team. Um, but yeah, it's it's wrongheaded the way that they've dealt with it, and it's interesting that they're not pushing for the health side of things as opposed to just it's more like political theater. It's I mean, what there was that one politician that was caught on a hot mic saying, you know, we'll do a little bit of political theater. I'm going to start with my mask on and then I'll take it off. And she's saying that to another politician or some lawyer on her right. Like, man, you're all full of shit. You just,
I know.
it's
And that shit breaks my heart
signifying.
because they're just using
Yeah.
us. And then if you call them out on it, it's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like, what the fuck? They're just witness. Like, you just,
Yeah.
I saw that same piece of footage with the hot mic,
Yeah.
and you said, nah, it's just your conspiracy. I heard it with my own eyes.
Right.
I heard it with my
Yeah.
own
It's
eyes.
not a theory. I mean, it's not a theory. It's a real thing that
Yeah.
really happened. Like, I'm not making this up.
And then even
But yeah, I mean,
another hot mic in our capital, the lady was telling the man, he was like, is it really, or do we really have 7,000 new cases? She was like, more like 700, but you know, the numbers are all fucked up. Like, what the fuck?
really, yeah. Yeah, they're just using us for political gamemanship. But yeah,
Someone's
whatever.
gonna,
A piece of cloth over my face isn't going to hurt my feelings in the meantime.
yeah.
To try to help safety, but I do know they're fucking with us.
All right, bro. So here's the real question, right? They have this
Yeah.
vaccine that's out that they've only been fucking with for the past 5 months. Are you gonna, I mean,
Oh
obviously
yeah.
we're all gonna have to take it. And I'm not sure if you're, a religious person, but it always comes back to me that mark of the beast. Like, do you think
Oh yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
that could be something, or do you even trust it? Something that's been, most of these trials, it's months away. They take years to get through for vaccines, and this
A
one's
lot of these vaccines that you're hearing about, though, were built on the backs of previous vaccines.
okay.
So it didn't need as long of a development time for these as, say, something starting from the ground up. You know, there were previous vaccines for similar strains before. Um, so maybe that contributed to how quickly they were able to pull it together. It's still a little iffy, though. I mean, when it hasn't been through the trials that it normally would go through, and you go immediately to releasing it to the public, it's concerning. I guess I'll watch and see what the science is and what the doctors are saying about it, but nobody affiliated with any government agency. I'd rather just hear a doctor talk about it,
Yeah. So so when you guys
immunologist or whatever.
started doing your you guys were you guys doing shows out there in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, up until so we played our last show in Seattle, I think like February 28th, and then locally everything was locked down March 15th. Um, and our last show was with TSOL.
Oh, I
So
know
we
them.
went out with a bang. Yeah. And so nice show for a newer band to play, and
Yeah.
then lights out on the city. So what we've done is we bought a generator, and we're gonna just start taking the show to people,
Go get it,
because
dude.
Lord knows when we're gonna open our
Fucking get
clubs
it.
back up. Yeah, fuck it. Bring a moving truck, hop out of the back, play 3 songs, put it back in the truck, and drive off to the next spot. And it's not risking people. We're not, inviting people or corralling them in or getting them close. We'll show up outside of a beer garden where they're socially distanced, and we'll play some songs on the street, and then we'll take off.
Who's some of your favorite acts, and just in period that
Some of
might,
my favorite acts.
yeah, that maybe influenced you?
Oh, Generation X is a big influence on our band. Gabor and me specifically are big fans of that band. Um, let's see. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Ramones and Sex Pistols and Dead Boys. Um, well, and the Vibrators and 999. Those are all pretty big ones with the
What
band, I
what
think.
year did
And then
you?
I've got some. I'm sorry.
Were you growing up in the 80s?
I'm in my 40s, so yeah, I
Okay.
was a yeah. So I was a little kid listening to some of this stuff like Agent Orange and Suicidal while I was skateboarding in fifth grade. Um, you know, and Motley Crue was out at the same time and stuff. So I was kind of getting exposed to butt rock and punk rock at the same time. And I just liked aggressive music. I was a hyperactive kid, and so that really drew me into it. And especially as a skater, you want stuff to kind of power you while you're going.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I discovered. I think possibly the first punk album I ever heard would have been uh, a Buzzcocks album, and then I think Suicidal was being played at my school quite a bit. I saw your mommy, and they were playing that one all the time. And then my buddy brought over vinyl of Milo Goes to College by the Descendants, and I was hooked. And then I once I had discovered more of the British acts besides just the Sex Pistols, I really started getting into that '77 wave of stuff over there. So, and I've kind of stayed there. Like, I dip my toes into some of the hardcore stuff, but I don't get into like East Coast hardcore or anything like that too much. I always stay kind of centered around melodic stuff or kind of rock centered stuff. I love bands like the New Bomb Turks.
Were you ever into the Nardcore scene?
The what? Sorry, I got
Nardcore?
a neighbor stomping
No, it's
on the
like
stairs.
Nardcore?
Nardcore?
Yeah, from
I'm not
Oxnard.
familiar with what.
Ill Repute, Dr. No, Missing 23rd.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's all from
yeah,
our area, man. Oxnard. Like,
yeah.
I'm Ventura. And like, I'm a huge punk guy, man. Even, boom, right there. Can you see it? That's the logo,
Yeah.
the Nardcore logo.
Is Los Olvidados from down that area?
Who? Suicidal?
Los Olvidados?
No, I don't. I'm
No,
not
Los
familiar.
Olvidados.
I know
So these guys
Suicidal.
were on skate codes back then.
Yeah, Suicidal is probably
I
30
remember as
minutes up the road
oh
from.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
you've seen a lot of them, yeah.
yeah they come out and they fuck with us, man.
Cool.
At least Mike.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty early influence. And I as a little skater drawing that on my board and stuff. But yeah, and so I'm deeply rooted in old school punk stuff, and I love new bands that have that old sound. And so when we formed our band, the decision was there, like we really want it to sound old. We want the old guitar effects, that kind of chorus effect they were using in late '70s, early '80s, or the flanger that Steve Jones would use on stuff. So I really want it to have that vibe to it. I want to feel like we're taking you back in time, even if the songs have some new influence in them, um, or maybe they're even heavier than some of that stuff. We want it to have that vibe.
It, if someone came up to you and didn't know that you were in your band, and they said, "Who are the Scoffs?" What would you say?
Gabor, Rob, Nate, and Nuck. You mean the elevator pitch on what we sound like?
No, not what you sound like, but who are you? What do you do? What do you stand for?
Uh yeah. Well, we're four friends. We're four veterans from Seattle punk and rock and roll bands, and we all have a pretty singular vision in what we want our music to sound like, and we want it to be exciting and up tempo and get the get the blood boiling and the feet moving. We're sometimes political. We're sometimes just rock and roll oriented lyrics. We haven't taken a position as far as we're an anarcho punk band or anything like that. We just write from the heart, and sometimes that involves stuff that you're mad about, and sometimes it involves longing, and sometimes it involves loss or reflection. And so we are simply an extension of the personalities in our band, and we are an extension of all of our musical influences. We try to pass on that vintage punk stuff that you just don't get anymore. You get a lot of pop punk that's super nasally, um, and you get a lot of hardcore stuff, but you don't hear a lot of people rocking that 77 sound, or the early 80s power pop stuff. You just don't get a ton of it anymore. So that's what we're trying to do, bring that, keep that vibe current.
That's beautiful. Um, you had mentioned, some of the lyrics might be political.
Mhm.
Was it hard to take a stance this round, due to all the tension around, like it's like you can't even bring anything up or discuss it without people like automatically, oh fuck you then. Oh, if you're a Biden guy, fuck
Yeah.
you. You Trump guy, fuck you. Like it's not. There's no room. There's no room for communication. Was that hard for you as a
I'll be
band?
honest with you. In in my old bands, um, we were primarily known as just kind of a good time rock and roll party band. And I never wanted to touch politics in my lyrics because I thought, well, nobody wants me preaching to them, and they don't want to hear this rock and roll guy telling them what to do and stuff. But now it's everything's such a mess and it's gone so fucking far that I think at some point you just got to sack up and say, this is what I stand for. And if you don't like it, well, fuck you. There's not much I can do for you. Um, and that's kind of the point that I hit with this band. And when I wrote Little Blue Tyrants a year ago, the George Floyd thing hadn't even happened. I mean, there were so many instances before that was similar to that. And I was writing about those. And then what do you know? We released this song and it's way too relevant because now the world's blown up over this thing because people were super pissed. So I didn't struggle with that. I wondered how the band would react when I came to practice. We were a pretty new band when I wrote that song. I mean, we're still a pretty new band, a year and a half old, but um, we were in our infancy in the first few months, first month, I guess. And I walked in with that song and I thought, how the fuck are they going to react to me bringing a song about police brutality? And, but they loved it and nobody hemmed or hawed when I came in. They were like, yes, fuck those guys. And so, um, yeah, so I guess how I dealt with it, man, I just started writing, and I figure um, if people want to write me off because of that, that's okay. I'm sure there's other bands you can find that'll uh, yell into a well for you. Like everybody wants just to hear an echo chamber, and I'd rather hear a lot of diversity out there. I want people to have different opinions and opposite opinions, and maybe I can learn things from some discourse. If they're racist pricks, though, I mean, I don't really need to hear what the fuck they have to say. I think people are too quick to jump onto that one, though. I think you
Yeah.
have to allow people space to have opposing viewpoints without immediately going to calling them something so extreme. Like, look for the gray area. It's not all black and white always.
My view on that is the people that will call you a racist or straight write you off, like, oh, it's just you're a
Mhm.
fucking Nazi or you're racist. Like those are the people who don't understand what's going on in the world, and instead of
Mhm.
trying to learn or to communicate, the easiest thing for them to do is like, oh, I don't want to talk to you because you're a racist.
Yeah,
And
it shuts down communication.
yeah, it's a shut down conversation. In most cases, it's not, oh, you're red, then you must be racist. If you're blue, you must be a snowflake. In most cases, that's not the case. In most
I
cases,
hate both political parties, so fuck them all, if you ask me.
yeah, I know. Um,
None of them care about us. What the fuck? Like, I'm
that,
not rooting for any of them.
I mean, that's the thing that's tragic about everything. Is
Mhm.
we inherited a government and a nation that doesn't care about its people. no matter what side of the, they say the right wing and the left wing are same part of the same bird, and both of them, they're not flying together.
It's like race cars. They need to just put their fucking sponsors on their jackets.
Yes, that's what we should
They're
do.
all sponsored by corporations. Just put a patch on there that says, Amazon or something.
Man, well, I saw a news report about something about that, but I don't want to drive that political bus
Okay,
right now.
that can go pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go down the rabbit hole too fast. Um, is there anything coming up for you guys?
Yeah, we're gonna put out another EP. So the thing that's happened with this quarantine thing is it's got us writing a lot. Once we came back and we started playing again, it felt so good to have that release every week that we had missed for months. And with all the stress we're under and stuff, that really serves as a release. So we look forward to getting together. It's not like work, like, oh, I got to drag in here after work every week. It's fuck, I can't wait to go to practice and work on stuff. And so we started writing a lot of songs. So we have another EP already in the can, ready to go. When we burn out this EP, I want to make another video for a song off here first, and then we'll put out the next one while we're getting artwork made. And then we've got enough songs to go in and do another one already. So we're going to start eyeballing when we can get back into the studio and do another one. And like I said, you're going to see us like in people's yards and stuff playing shows.
Dude, if you ever get a chance, when we get some sort of normalcy back into the world, I would love to put you on out here. Um,
Do it. Dude, we want to come down there so bad.
fucking A, dude. I am the guy in my area, LA, Ventura.
Uh-huh.
I'm the guy. I mean, I have so many, I work with so many different people, wonderful people. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Ventura Theater. It's the Majestical Ventura Theater. There's so many, I book there. So, I mean, imagine
Nice.
being on that stage.
I'm in. Oh, and if you know anybody with a little label that wants to put out our second EP, I could use some help. I'm doing all of it. And we want to do vinyl this time. We didn't do it on the first one because we didn't have all the money in our pocket to do it. So fucking, if there's a label out there that likes the Scoffs, put us on there, man.
Fucking A. We have some people. I'll ask around for you, man. I'm glad you said that to me because
All right.
I can start a conversation with other people about it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
man,
The second one is pretty rough. It's a 4 song banger, and it comes out swinging. And we had that quarantine song on there because it
when
started working.
you when are you gonna come out with the next? You don't know the music video yet. The time you're gonna time frame.
Not yet. We've got one out right now for Little Blue Tyrant. So if people go onto YouTube, you can see a video for that one. And it's not an easy watch. There's a lot of police brutality in the video, so trigger warning. But we, the way that the video is laid out, Nate put it together, my bassist, and he interspersed scenes from like 50s training videos of what we wanted from our police with what we got. And it's a really interesting watch because you see that such a stark difference from somebody holding a little girl's hand and smiling and helping her across the street to just pounding on people in protest crowds and stuff. So
Dude, that's fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like, I just because you said that, like, it just flooded my brain with some things. Like, it's always about power. Like, people can't control power. Anytime they have power,
yeah.
they have to take it to the nth level. We just talked about politicians. They're sitting there getting ready for a briefing, giggling about how they're going to fuck with us. Theatrical theater. And police, you know what I mean? You give them a little bit of power, they start fucking people up.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. And with the
if there's a
quote,
message to be
absolute
put
power
out,
comes absolutely.
go
The
ahead.
what?
Is if there's a message to be put out, just check yourself. If you have any sort of power, like remember that we are all in the same boat, and I think no one's better than another person. And of course, there are dumb people in the world, but if you feel that you're smart, it's not to take advantage of them; it's to help them.
It
Not
should be. Yeah.
one of those thoughts I had. All right, man. Hey, so what we're gonna do is we'll put up this would be for February magazine.
Mhm.
If you have something coming out in February, or that you want to build it around, let me know. I'll write it up that way. Um,
Okay.
but until then, just keep in contact. We're friends. Write me, hey, can you add this? Can you add that? I'm honestly, just to be real, I'll put this video up next week, but
Mhm.
the me writing to it, it's due January 10th. So I will start
Mhm.
January 9th. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Do you want me to
anywhere up
send
till
you?
the 9th.
Do you want any live photos and stuff, or do you want
Yes,
like?
if you can send me
Yeah.
high definition photos, it would help out. The
Okay. Yeah.
better,
Shoot me an email address in our Instagram chat, and I'll send you some high def stuff.
and remember, the better the pictures, the better for you. Because so I'm just going to tell you, last month I had punk rocks. I had Rev Theory. They were supposed to be on the cover, and they gave me
Mhm.
two photos that were fucking blurry, dude. Look at this shit. Like, how am I supposed to? What am I supposed to do with this? They were supposed to be in my cover story. What the fuck, dude? For reals? The cover?
Yeah.
And then this one right
No,
here, like, it's so
we,
cryptic. I
we've
can't.
got
And then
we've
so
got some stuff. We've got this incredible photographer up here, Andrew Repchick, and I didn't even know him when he started shooting. I think our third show we were playing with Lions Law, and there's this guy in the audience, and he shows me the photos afterwards, and it was jaw dropping. They were so good. One of them became our album cover, and he's been to a bunch of shows. We've become friends with him, so we have all these just incredible images, and so I'm happy to share some of those with somebody to see those in print. He's as long as he gets credit because he's like an official photographer for punk
yeah.
rock bowling and stuff. So
So this girl, she wasn't even in the running for the cover, and then
yeah,
three people, they couldn't give us proper pictures, so she ended up getting it. So I'm just saying, man, I wouldn't be opposed to putting you guys on the cover, just if a situation like
awesome.
that happens. So
I'll
let me
send you some
know.
good shit, man.
I appreciate your time, and I'll see you in
Yeah.
cyberspace, buddy.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, Steve.
See ya.
Have a good one.